You are now listening to the new Old Heads podcast, premiered every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time at bringdowntheband.com, and brought to you by No Bad Ideas, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, and Sun King Brewery. Support the new Old Heads by visiting our Patreon at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the new Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7. The entire crew is here, even though we are all snowed in like crazy here in Indianapolis. There's snow everywhere. My man Jay Moore is in the building. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. You know, all things considered. We're snowed in here, but I got to give a shout out, to all my people in Dallas and Houston, San Antonio. Yeah. My sisters down there. They're having to deal with just craziness because they're getting weather they've never had before, and a lot of them don't have power on constantly. Like they're either dealing with rolling blackouts, or they have no power at all. So shout out to them, man. I know that some people got jokes, but this is really serious, and they suffering down there. So shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. So I feel you on that 100%. Man, DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutations. What's good, my friend?
Oh man, I can't call it, man. Just like I said, just trying to stay out the way with this snow,
Yeah, did you call in? I know you work from home, but did you call in today?
I wanted to. I wanted to, man, but they was gonna be like at home, bro. Clock in. So yeah, I wanted to try to see if somebody was gonna be dumb enough to let me call off, but they weren't. Oh,
yeah. This sounds like something you would have done. Like calling.
I would have tried. Yeah.
I can't even make it. It's snowing outside, and they be like, "Yo, but you work from home."
Yeah, I would have tried. I would have tried it.
Yeah,
I would have tried it. It's cool though.
I'm proud of you for working, bro.
Come on, man. I know you was out there shoveling at your household. You know what I'm talking about, being a grown man. So we appreciate you out there.
Yeah, had to shovel to be able to get out and go to work. So,
yes, sir. Live from the Bringing Down the Band headquarters. My man Lonegevity, how are you, sir?
Good. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo está?
I think you better than that dog that was at your neighbor's that was staying out all last night. I tried to asshole leave their dog out last night though.
Yeah, that's some bullshit.
I don't know what exactly happened with this, but the dog was barking outside at like 4 p.m. when the snow was like starting to kick up, and I saw him out there. And I was like, all right. So I kind of looked out there, went out and shoveled a little bit. And he was like right next. As soon as I walked out there, he was like right next to my fence. And there's like a space in between there. Like that. I have that open lot next to me. And so, yeah, that's the closest he's ever been. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, what's up? And he just kind of looked at me and barked at me. So anyways, I went inside, came back out like 2 hours later. He was still like kind of roaming free. And I was like, well, maybe he either got out of the house or they left in a hurry or something. I'm not sure, but he was outside all night. Like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I walked over there because it was cold. I tried to get him to come. But I was like, you can come in the house as long as you don't bite my face off, And
I would have tried to get him into the crib too. But if he ain't going, then
So I walked all the way over there. Snow was thick. And I was like, he was barking at me the whole time. It was 3:30 in the morning. Like, I didn't want to like keep people up, but it's like this dog is just like sitting outside, like afraid to go anywhere. And so, he ended up staying, and it's what it was. But
I'm out here trying to get the, I guess you can't call it humanitarian, or can you? Cincinnati.
I mean, you could go humanitarian. Okay. You could do that.
Okay.
It's a good act.
He out here trying to get the humanitarian award.
I mean, it's going to be colder tonight.
I ain't mad at him, no.
It's going to be colder tonight than it was last night. It was still like in the 20s, teens last night, but it's going to be like 0 tonight. So
yeah.
I'm happy it's at least a little bit warmer last night. You're
a good guy for him, willing to invite 𝐀𝐿 into the crib, to keep him warm.
Because 𝐀𝐿 definitely might have been on one in your house. So I commend you for at least giving it a shot, because he might have been cool once he got warm. But
yeah, this is the same dog that every time that I leave, like he looks at me and tries to bite through the leash that he's chained up with to jump over to come and see me. So
okay, it's a situation over at that dog's house.
Yeah, he going. I'm a dog person, but he going through some things. Like if he trying to bite through a damn chain to get at you, like I don't know what's going on over there, man. Like,
I'll tell you what's going on. They over there feeding. They over there putting gunpowder and hot sauce in his food.
Oh, okay. So he's a hood dog then. I see.
But at the same time,
they feed him sharks.
Not sharks.
Sharks fish.
They just put gunpowder and hot sauce on his food.
Oh, I thought you meant they went and got him like every. I thought you meant they went like every day and got him shit like a gizzard dinner or something and fed him that.
No,
he might be a good.
That's why you can't have no pets.
You feed your dog soul food, he might be cool because he's gonna be lethargic all the damn time. He's gonna be lethargic and lazy all the time because he eating freaking gizzards and hog maws and shit.
See, that's what people got to stop. We got to stop doing eating because you know what happens? Our dogs wind up dying and having the same thing. Like they'll be like, "Oh, what's your dog die of? He had hypertension and juvenile diabetes. That's why we can't feed diabetes."
Yeah, white people's dogs don't die from stuff like that. There's a direct correlation. That's a fact.
Yeah.
You know what though? I don't think he's like an overly angry dog. I mean, like, he was definitely like distraught because the other dogs were inside. And
it would be too.
One time, like I saw him like try to jump through this tall ass window, and he never left that vicinity. Like he would walk over, like towards my house. I saw his footprints, but he went back. Like he stayed there the whole time. So he was definitely like, I'm trying to get home. You know, like he wasn't like gonna run away. But
I was the feds. I might try to call them people on him.
The house got more than one dog, and he the only one had to come out, stay outside.
Yeah,
3 dogs.
Something weird.
Only one.
That's that bullshit.
Something weird.
He probably really Cujo. He probably really Cujo. There got to be a reason why they didn't let that one in the house.
Remember the dogs? Long, you remember the dogs?
But he wasn't chained up either, though, which he usually is. So that was the other thing.
Long, you remember the dogs that was with Gozer?
Yeah,
Ghostbuster. Is he one of those?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's a big ass dog.
Yeah, he's a big. He or she's a big Rottweiler. So, but
shout out to the people that caught that reference that know Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all know
the better of the two. Yeah,
no, that was the dog Martin had when he was dressing out black.
Long, you ain't slick. Ghostbusters 2 is still better than 1.
It's not.
What are you talking about?
It is not.
Here you go. I'm really not gonna get you started because Jay Moore hate every movie that come out.
Only thing better on 1 is the soundtrack.
No, I mean, only thing better on 2.
Only thing about 2 better is the soundtrack. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
You know what? I ain't about
and
to
Bobby
do this,
Brown's
man.
in it.
2 is better. 2 is clearly better than 1. Bobby Brown definitely had a cameo.
You need to go back and watch it.
Cold. Vigo was cold.
Yeah.
They had slime blowers in the second one. Like, what are y'all talking about? And Janine put the gay that thing up. What are y'all talking about? Like, I'm confused. Like,
no.
What are y'all talking about?
All these things you're mentioning don't a good movie make.
They took the Statue of Liberty and they had its legs bending.
Don't do this, man.
They had its legs bending with slime, right? I think a blown up marshmallow is more believable.
Walking out to Jackie Wilson.
Bruh, first of all, so y'all weren't hype off the slime blowers? I'm just asking.
Oh no, not really. To be honest, no, I wasn't.
One of the only part 2 movies that's better than part 1.
The toaster scene was good.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, I can roll. I mean, I like them all. I like them all. To be honest,
I like Back to the Future too. I mean, but I'm definitely not giving Ghostbusters 2 over Ghostbusters 1.
Nah, man.
If I had enough time before we get into this next topic, I would throw a battery in Jay Moore's back to hear about Wonder Woman. But I ain't gonna gas him up because all he gonna do is hate. So we gonna leave that alone.
Hate on with Wonder Woman. Let me take that back. Wonder Woman 84. It is. Wonder Woman 84 is the 2020 of comic book movies.
I see fine though, but the movie
doesn't matter.
I don't know.
That movie is awful.
Yeah, she cold, but I don't know about the movie.
You know what? I haven't seen the first one either, though. I haven't seen either one of them. I'm not really a big DC movie fan.
The second Wonder Woman was just awful.
Hey, cut it out.
Big on DC movies unless it's Batman. And be honest with you, like everything else is always like.
Oh, and shout out to the chat before we get started. D-Frog, I see you. Yeah, I see you. Alex, I see you. Corey T, ignorant ass, I see you. And the Flood, that's my guy, but he hating. Ghostbusters 2, they control the Statue of Liberty control with the NES Advantage controller. Cut it out. He said terrible. Cut it out. The Flood, don't do me like that, man.
Did you ever fall for it? The old man eating toaster trick.
Shout out to my man Bill Murray, man. Hey, y'all some haters, man. Y'all know what it was,
Bill
man.
Murray.
Bill motherfucker.
What was that dude?
He's my goat.
Bill Murray's that guy though. He's hilarious.
Yeah, I remember when Bill Murray was supposed to be at where was he supposed to be here?
Melody Inn, because we went.
At the Melody Inn, and we went and waited to see if he was gonna show up, and he didn't come.
Yeah, Terry and I went. No, he didn't show up.
What the tickets here for?
It's free.
No, it was free.
There was just a rumor that Bill Murray
trying to kick it with Bill Murray. Have a beer with him or something.
Bill motherfucker Murray.
He cool enough to do that mug too. Like he definitely would have had a beer, I think.
Working the bar.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and jump into this rundown. We appreciate y'all rocking with us, even though we were behind. We had some technical difficulties. We had some fraud. We had some
all of that.
I don't know, some other stuff going on, but we appreciate y'all hanging in there with us, being in the chat as always.
Scammers out there scamming for bobs.
Yeah, man, they out here trying to chase these tears on OnlyFans and Patreon. It's all good though. So, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has named some 2021 nominees: Jay-Z, LL Cool J, Mary J. Blige. Some of the ones the top, the most notable names for hip hop are going in this year. I'm trying to see if I can get Shaka Khan as well. Dionne Warwick is listed on there also. The rest of the 16 nominees rounded out to be Fela Kuti, Kate Bush, the Foo Fighters, Iron Maiden, Carole King, Rick Dolls, Tina Turner, Rage Against the Machine. All dope names, all popular acts. At this point in 2021, like, should hip hop artists, do you guys think hip hop artists should feel this is a prestigious honor to be selected to that, or should they be more focused on trying to establish something that really promotes and celebrates hip hop on its own, separate from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because there's always been mixed reviews about that. People that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and some of those legendary rock groups. How do y'all think hip hop artists should feel getting selected to this? Hey, Diff, I'll come to you first. What do you think, man? How should Hov feel? Mary J. Blige, we'll say hip hop and R&B. How should they feel about that going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I mean, I think it's cool that they acknowledge them as artists because, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to with all their accomplishments. But I've never been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so like, is there a wing in it that's dedicated to like hip hop and R&B? I mean, mind you, rock and roll was pretty much created by Black people in the first place, but we know how twists and turns happen and what it became after the fact. So I mean, it's a good nod, but at the same time, is it something that I don't know. I don't really know the word I'm looking for here, or it's I don't know. It's a good nod, but at the end of the day, as long
should
as
it be celebrated? Should they be?
I mean,
is it a badge of honor to be like, yo, I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as the arguably the greatest or the greatest rapper of all time? Like, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right when you put it like that. I mean, like I said, it's a good nod. If the artist is happy about it, I'm not mad. But in the same token, I would think that by now there will be a different type of museum or place where they could house artists like that or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's cool. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. I could dig it. Jay Moore, jump in, man. How should these artists feel, man? Badge of honor, or it's cool? Appreciate you.
I do think it is something they should be honored by because you are still being selected by your peers. And I think it's just, from the outside looking in and not knowing exactly how the process is done, I'm always happy for anybody who gets in, because you're being acknowledged. And, you work to create a definitive piece of art and to do something that is for the people. But of course, you do want those acknowledgments. I never get mad at people, even though we've talked extensively about the Grammys and whatnot. I'm never mad at anyone who is happy about winning a Grammy. And I feel the same way in a way about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I can just look at it from like, how is Tina Turner just now getting on the list? And when I see Dionne Warwick, and then I see how, this has always been my thing with me. As much as I love Big and I love and appreciate Tupac, there's no way that they should have got in before LL Cool J if we're going to do that. And it seems just a little bit wrong that LL Cool J and Jay-Z are in the same year. Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. And like that, those are just the things that stand out to me particularly. But I don't think if LL gets in this year, I don't think he'll be like, well, finally, he'll just be happy to be acknowledged, and he'll be happy to be on the stage and be able to thank his family and thank his supporters and thank the people that believed in him. I think that's more important than, luckily we have these things. So, people like us who do podcasts, who like to talk about music and debate these things, we have something to talk about. But I think when you look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you look at of course, Tina Turner is supposed to be in there. Of course, Dionne Warwick is supposed to be in there. The Temptations, they were inducted back in the 80s. Some people be like, that's not rock and roll. When they say rock and roll, I think they're really just trying to encompass all modern music, from the rock and roll era on. I know rock and roll is a polarizing term for some people, but I feel like if you're going to, include these other people who don't technically fit into the rock category, then you should have no issue with anybody who comes along in a modern musical era who makes a definitive impact on not only popular culture but popular music.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
So do you think, real quick, do you think it's more of a situation where whoever's popular at the moment in time, they make sure to include them and then try to fish and go back and get somebody that they probably should have included a long time ago? I'd like to know who the board of directors, are they some younger people? Are they older? Is it the same situation with a Rolling Stone magazine? Have they nominate people? You know what I'm saying? Because I think
I don't know
key factor as well.
I don't know if a lot of these people are older. If Tina Turner just now getting in, you see what I'm saying? I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't know the makeup. To your point, we all in the same boat here. But I mean, fam, if Dionne Warwick and Tina Turner, they in their 70s, and they both had put out great music. Tina Turner is iconic. She should have been in there. Her Ike was actually rocking out for real. She should have been in there. I don't know what the selection process is. Weird because LL Cool J's up on the ballot, but NWA already in there. Biggie's already in there, to your point. So I feel you. I just don't know where the ball is being dropped. And, the purpose of the question was just, and that's a good point to talk about, but just weird, man, because I figured something would have evolved into some form of a Hall of Fame or award ceremony for hip hop by now. They did get the land and everything approved for a loan for a hip hop museum in New York. That went through. So that's dope. It would be something I would want to go to New York to see. So that's fire to me. As in terms of a Hall of Fame, I figured something would have come up by now that we would have to celebrate strictly hip hop artists. I just don't know, man. The selection process might be flawed. It just seems a little weird.
Trap museum.
Yeah, some other than the trap museum. That's all I'm saying. Lone, jump in, man. What do you think about it, man? Is it a badge of honor, or should they just be kind of indifferent and tip the caps to them?
Yeah, I think I look at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame pretty much the same way I look at the Grammys or any other type of award show and ceremony. It's just it's something that happens. It's something that people give it accomplished artists, but there is no real good way to manage who gets in and who doesn't. It's got to be somewhat popularity based. It's probably similar to like, we've heard about this in sports, like, oh, they forgot this person, so that they're going to have a better chance to get in the next time. I'm with Eric in the comments. I was thinking this before. I think they should just call it the Musical Hall of Fame rather than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at this point. Just change it up. I know you got to change your branding. Something, like that. That way, you can get rid of all the, the metal racists. Let's just, or whatever you want to call it as, the people that don't want, R&B singers in it, or genres that aren't a specific type of rock and roll. Just open it up, change the name of it, change the branding of it, and turn it into something bigger than it is. Maybe it'll have a little bit more merit to it then. I don't know, because right now the whole weird thing is like, well, they're not rock and roll. It's like, well, I get what they're saying, but that's only the branding of it, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Honestly, I don't care. It's good. Drop the emoji, right? It's one of those things. It's like it's like the Grammys.
Signature. We gotta get that. Get a Printfinity joint, man. I swear, man. I don't care.
But it's I don't know, man. Like if I won, they're like, hey, we're gonna let you come into the music, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'd probably be like, well, I don't do rock and roll. That's nice. So I don't know. Like, I wouldn't be upset. To me, it was always weird. I guess I always saw the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as like rock and roll. I didn't see it as hip hop. I didn't see it as, like pop music. So once they started adding those type of people to it, the modern day stuff, I'm not talking about the old school rock and roll, like I'm not talking about black artists versus white artists. I'm talking about like actual rock and roll. Once they started doing that, it just became a little weird to me. So, because of that, I don't really pay any attention to it, to be honest. So even though you mentioned it and I looked at it, who'd you say? Diana? Why can't I ever say her name? Dion. Yeah.
You don't listen to R&B. Don't worry about it.
I've got like 3 of her records like right here. I got like 3 of her. But like Jay-Z, it's like what rock artists or what like rock and roll with like a drummer and a guitar player and singer is
Kate Bush. So Kate Bush, Devo, if I didn't pronounce it right, I'm sorry. Foo Fighters.
Okay.
Is it the Go-Go? Is it the Google? How you say it? The Go-Go's? Googles? I'm sorry.
The Go-Go's. They should have been in.
Go-Go's. All right. Iron Maiden, Carole King, the New York Dolls, Todd Rundgren, Tina Turner, and Rage Against the Machine.
Let me ask this though. And this ain't a shot or a slight or anything.
Beef.
No, none of that. I know rock and roll is still
sounds like beef to me
genre, but who are the new rock and roll artists? Like, are y'all hip to any of the newer rock and roll artists?
I couldn't tell you.
When was the last time a rock and roll artist was popular or popping? Like, is there still a rock and roll segment in the Grammy Awards and the American Music Awards?
I'm sleep. Now, if there is good rock and roll out there, then all means y'all shoot it my way.
There's still a heavy metal category.
Yeah.
I know traditional rock radio is really struggling. Just because, the rock audience doesn't listen to terrestrial radio anymore.
Is there new metal?
I don't think Indianapolis actually has just a new rock station.
And the X103.
Yeah,
X103
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you if that's still a thing or not.
So what about
low key? This is kind of fucked up. It's kind of fucked up. We know
doing heavy metal.
Look, the only reason I know a little bit about the heavy metal category is because I saw that Ice-T's group Body Count was nominated for a Grammy this year. That's the only reason I was even still aware that they still had the heavy metal award for the Grammys.
I mean, the
heavy metal award was actually introduced the very same year that hip hop best rap album was introduced.
Hey, y'all wanna
Dame Dash in a rock group though?
Y'all wanna start a group and so we can get nominated for a Grammy? Because I think
I
think we might be able to do it. If these artists or groups ain't doing it, we might be able to.
Hold up. The only way this is going to work visually, though, here's the angle. This is how we flip it.
It's about to be racist.
The only way this works is Lone is the lead singer. He's playing lead guitar.
He gotta play guitar.
He has to play guitar, but no, I'm talking about. I mean, we could put him on percussion or something. I'm saying we got to have him as a lead guitarist.
I want to play bongos.
We got to have him with like.
You ain't never seen a lead singer playing bongos, man. You got.
Yeah, first of all,
that's why it's great.
Excuse you, sir. Philip Bailey from Earth, Wind, and Fire was a percussionist. Get your life together.
He was a percussionist, right?
Yes.
He didn't play solely play bongos.
You know, when you think of Earth, Wind, and Fire, you think Reese. That's Philip Bailey. Cut it out.
Yeah, I know. I stand corrected. He had a song with Phil Collins too, by the way.
I see you. But what I'm saying is, forget all that. What I'm saying is, Lone is gonna have to have like a wig or something that's like a mullet kind of that's long, and then we can do him on lead guitar and singing. If he does that, whatever we play don't matter. So Jay Moore can play whatever, I'll play whatever, keys, bass, drums, whatever. If we do it that way, and we get like the right background singers, we straight. Good.
Yeah.
Or we can take a new age approach to this shit. And just make the beats, and don't nobody gotta play a goddamn instrument.
We could just pretend
like that.
We could just pretend.
Ooh. Yeah, we could.
I'm with the pretend feature. Let's Vanilla Ice this shit. Like 100%. Like let's just, let's just do it. We're legitimately right now showing our ignorance in this realm of genre because there's definitely a booming indie rock genre right now. Maybe not
but
I'm
that's
booming.
indie
completely
rock,
ignorant.
Though. That's indie
rock. He talking about metal. Yeah, he talking about heavy metal. Yeah, that's what he talking about.
When has a heavy metal band been popular besides Metallica?
Y'all would have to tell me.
Yeah.
I would have to tell me. I don't know.
The 80s?
I mean, I used to try to look at just so I knew what the other kids in my school were talking about. I remember looking at Headbangers Ball a little bit.
Iron Maiden.
Headbangers Ball.
The 80s.
That was like the heavy metal version of Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah, the 80s.
Ain't System of a Down heavy metal?
Yeah, but they weren't like. Have you ever heard System of a Down's remake of Shame by Wu-Tang?
No.
Stay in this post show. I'm gonna play it for you. It is absolutely hilarious because Reza actually raps.
Please play that. Please play that because I've never heard that in my life. All right, so let's wrap that topic up and also shout out to the comments as well. I saw y'all in there. The Flood was dropping some heat talking about the Grammys and the Hall of Fame committees might be lacking diversity and inclusion. I agree with you 100% there.
Kind of like Newfields.
DJ Corey T said, I see you. Classic rock out here. Daft Punk already did it already. I guess he was talking about us on that one. A lot of indie rock has moved to the underground. David, I see you. Appreciate you. No, I feel y'all. Good comments there in the chat. DJ Corey T said Fela is a nominee, son. What the hell? Yeah, I said the same thing when I read his name. I guess it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, whatever that means. All right, let's don't do that long. Let's move to
real quick. Here's another piece though. All these hip hop artists who say they ain't hip hop and they're not rappers, are they gunning for that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination?
No, they just weirdos.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, they just weirdos. Yeah. They're just weirdos. And I'll be old, or I'll raise my old hand on that. I'll be old. They just weirdos.
Right.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, definitely weirdos.
Let's shout the partners really quick before we jump in the last two. We're about halfway. Let's shout the partners real quick just because we're about halfway through.
Okay. All right, you got it.
And it's lone, not long. Yeah.
We'd like to thank our partners for the new podcast.
No Bad Ideas Clothing Company, Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl, Sun King Brewery, and the hub for all things new old heads, bringingdowntheband.com. Remember, once you type Bringing Down the Band in the search bar on YouTube and the page populates, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And as always, we thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
It's all love. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm a 𝗡𝗲𝗱 fan.
Yeah,
All right. Shout out to Sun King.
Yes, sir. I see you with the product, Jay Moore. Oh, okay. I
got that,
see you, Long.
No Bad Ideas on.
Oh, No Bad Ideas product. Okay, I'm slacking on product tonight. I poured some in here, but I'm slacking on the product placement. I apologize. We love our partners.
I got a Printfinity product placement.
Hey, there we go.
All right.
There we go.
Gotta get
right.
that.
So the whole crew is here. Jay Moore, DJ Jay Diff, and my man Long.
You better
Let's
calm
go ahead
down.
Pause.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Terry.
It's a very common mistake, but it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yo, that's really funny, man. I would laugh a little bit more, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Out to the homie Long. All right, Judas.
I can
Judas
mute
and the
you.
Black
You know that,
Messiah.
right?
Huh?
I can mute you. You know that, right?
No, you can't, man. I know.
I can white privilege the hell out of this.
Appreciate you. I'm gonna act up. I'm not gonna act up. All right, so Judas and the Black Messiah. The soundtrack has really been in the news. I've yet to see the film. Also, yet to see anyone speak, other than favor this movie. Like I've yet to see anyone say it's whack or they didn't like it. Even the woke, I haven't had anybody jump out of any woke windows. Usually when movies come out like this, there's a group of black folks that say, black folks always get excited about movies, and why y'all always excited about movies? So I was hoping that wouldn't happen, and I haven't seen it yet, so that's a good thing. Because I seen a mild case of it. I seen a mild case of and this is with any kind of movie like this of make sure you go actually read up on Fred Hampton, which I don't. That's why I say it's mild, because I think you should, if you don't already know, learn a little more about Fred Hampton and what he did. Well, it's like Black Panther, man. I'm not comparing Fred Hampton obviously to, Marvel. I'm just saying when that movie came out,
he was a legitimate Black Panther though.
100%. I see what you did. With Black Panther, it was so many black people y'all so excited about this Marvel movie. We'll put some money back in the community and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, man, shut your ass up. There you go. I see you.
Black Panther.
I see you. But this soundtrack, man, normally I've been consistent with this long project. It's got 22 records on it. So today's era with the instant gratification era and everything is fast and quick. The attention span is so much shorter now, and it's rare that I find a longer project that actually can hold my attention. And this was one of them that actually held my attention. Everybody knows what it feels like with Nipsey and Jay is pretty much just taking all the press for this project, but it actually goes deeper than that. It's really good. Terry messaged me when it first
leading up to that song. Even leading up to that Jay.
Oh yeah.
Leading up to the Nipsey Jay-Z song. You had a Nas song. You had a Black Thought song.
Yep.
It's like there's joints on here. The joint with Smino and Saba is cold. I like that one.
Come on.
Played the 45th.
Shout out to Bump J. Yeah, that joint is cold. Shout out to Bump J, man. Bump J was on here twice, if I'm not mistaken. And his joint with G Herbo, fire.
You know what I mean? G Herbo song that I actually co-signed because G Herbo is more missed than hit, in my personal opinion.
I've always told people that all my homies from Chicago. All my homies from Chicago get mad for me when I say that, but I'm like, he just don't do it for me, man. The majority of the time. But on this one, took care of business. Rhapsody's joint with Jid was cold. Masego, that's good. The whole project, I was pleasantly surprised at how consistent it was. The joint with her, joint with BJ the Chicago kid by himself. All these joints are fire. You know what I'm saying? And
I love how they showcased a bunch of Chicago artists on here.
Yep.
You know, yep. It would have been nice to hear a Chance the Rapper track on here, considering kind of his upbringing with his pops being involved in politics or whatnot, and what he's doing. It would have been nice to hear something from him. Would have been nice to hear something from Kanye in the right headspace, you know. But I'm glad that they definitely gave Chicago artists time to shine.
I could have used, if we're gonna be Chicago, I could have used the homie Ad too. I could have used, Common. I could have used, who am I missing? Like, I don't care. You could have put anybody from Chicago, Twister, like some of the OGs could have been on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have been mad at that. But that being said, like, I was very pleased with the project. One of the questions that came to my mind, and Terry, we've talked about this before, off script before the show a while back. If we did it on the show, I can't remember because we've had so many episodes. But Nipsey and Jay being the main record off this project. You know, me and my dude Nate Jeezy, shout out to Nate Jeezy, we always talk about artists that have passed away. You know, hearing them after they've passed away, and do you get excited about it, or is it kind of a weird vibe? I think this record was so good that I didn't care. Like, it sounded like Nipsey. It sounded like Victory Lap Nipsey. A lot of people say they don't want to hear from too much music after someone passes away. Did any of that creep into your minds once you heard this record, or was it just like, yo, this joint is dope, soundtrack is dope? And y'all can talk about the soundtrack as well if you have any more comments. But how did you feel about hearing Nip and Jay, knowing that Jay has heard this beat for the past probably 3 or 4 years and just now got on there and actually made it work for the soundtrack?
I think it's fine.
Jay Moore, I'll come to you first, man. How'd you feel about hearing that record, man?
Well, you know, the crazy thing is the way verses float around and licensing is taken care of. You know, that Nip verse, for those of you who haven't read up on it, is 8 years old. 8 years old. And, you know, and the J verse is new, you know, so because if you do enough digging, you know, you've heard that particular Nipsey verse before. A lot of times, like these posthumous releases, you know, with Big and with Pac, you know, it doesn't line up with what I think they would have done if they were here. You know, when I hear certain things, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. With this particular song, it worked, you know, because it wasn't all of a sudden, you know, them trying to put Nipsey on a song where, you know, it wasn't a vibe he would have been down with if he was still here. You know, he and Jay actually had a relationship, you know, right. So that makes sense to me. You know, they would have eventually worked. They would have eventually worked together. You know, if unfortunately, if Nipsey hadn't unfortunately been taken from us in the way that he was. So yeah, I like that record. I think it's fantastic. One of the things that I was happiest about is because, you know, because everyone would talk about, you know, the Nas record and the
which was dope.
Nothing taken away from it. But what I like about this particular soundtrack is being able to hear from so many of the younger rappers, like and R&B singers, of course, because her, and then BJ the Chicago Kid, Lil Durk. That Lil Durk song, On My Mind, because I'm looking at the track list song. I really like that. I haven't been a fan of G Herbo, but I loved his record on here. I haven't liked the Pooh Shiesty record. You know what I'm saying? So as much as, you know, like, because we talked about
Gu-Wop's artist, right?
Yeah,
Gu-Wop's artist, right?
So we talked about a couple of weeks ago when we talked about, you know, where is the political hip hop from this generation? Well, now everybody can shut up because here it is, you know. And the thing is,
it is
when, you know, after, you know, because, you know, of course I was kind of in my bag on that particular episode. I said, you know, when you go back and listen to a lot of these artists, you know, just because it doesn't sound like Chuck D doesn't mean these guys aren't political. Like the drill rap, if you really get into it, it's just as political as anything else. But we're not ready to listen to it because all we see is, you know, we also hear the gangbang element of it, and we also, all we see is the dudes wearing clothes we don't understand, and wearing their hair we don't understand, and so we're not listening to them. Like, I think the great thing about this particular soundtrack is like, okay, it's got Nas, it's got Jay, it's got Nipsey, but then it's got the young boys on here. And if you don't just skip over them because you recognize their name for some knucklehead shit they might have done, these kids are really saying something. I think that's really what I was trying to get to, a couple episodes ago, is we just got to give them a chance, because in not just in these records that are on this particular soundtrack, but if you go into the records that they may not release for the club, they in here talk like I said, they're talking about their neighborhoods and what they're going through. That makes it political. So these young men who are given a chance, like I said, just because we can't be our parents on this. Just because we don't like the way they look and we don't understand all the words that they're saying, it doesn't mean they're not political and they don't have something important to say.
Here's my thing. I'm going to disagree. I agree with the concept of what you're saying from a standpoint of some of the younger artists really having some stuff to say. So within the music, outside of the club and all that, I'm not mad at that. I'm cool with that. I'm going to disagree on the records that I've heard that are drill. I don't hear no positive shit, no revolutionary shit, none of that shit in these drill records that I'm hearing. Now, that's just me. If there's some that I'm missing, that's cool. But Chief Keef and all these beats produced by Young Chop and all that, I ain't heard no revolutionary shit on that.
Well, just because they talk about violence in the neighborhood,
I'm not saying it don't exist.
That doesn't mean it's not political. It's just not the political we're used to.
I'm not saying it don't exist, but I'm just saying from what I'm seeing, smoking on XYZ pack and all that.
I agree with the self-destructive tendencies, but you know what? Tupac would do "Hit 'Em Up," which is one of the most self-destructive, like terrible records, really, when you think about it. But then he also had, a song like, "White Man's World" and "Going Crazy," where these are songs about the struggle. So just like Pac did that 25, 30 years ago, that's what these kids are doing. We can't expect them to be on that shit all the time, because you know what? We're not on that shit all the time.
I'm gonna need y'all. Hey, go ahead, Terry.
No, I agree with that, but in the same token, I'm not giving everybody a pass. Just like I'm not giving all our peers and didn't give all our peers a pass when we was younger coming up. I mean, if you whack, you just whack. Simple as that. But as far as the Nip and Jay-Z track, I love the fact how that song is 8 years old, but the way he started it out. I mean, Nip started the verse saying, "The only reason I survive because a nigga is special first."
Yep.
With him saying that, and he's gone, but yet he still survives through these lyrics, this music. They're not letting him just be gone and cease to exist. And have him make that statement first, and then have Jay-Z wrap up the song with what he said and kind of pointing that we riding for cuz, or we doing it for cuz what they did to cuz is just a dope song, man. I love how they put that shit together, because you got an old verse with a brand new verse, and it still sounds like it was meant to be. You know what I'm saying? So whoever did that was really good with that, because like we heard a lot of music that came out from artists that had passed on that just didn't fit the mold. Like it was like off here and there. It just didn't sound organic. This particular song sounded organic, sounded like it was meant to be. You know what I'm saying? And I would probably say that's the standout track on the album. May not mean it's the best track on the album, because
I got it as the best. I got it as the best.
Well, of course, you're gonna say it's the best, but I mean, there's some very good songs. And you got a song from Jay Moore mentioned a few of the dope songs.
BJ song.
Anytime Sir jumps on the track, he usually don't miss. You know what I'm saying? Her, Sir, both of them on there going off.
Rhapsody joint is hard. The Rhapsody joint is hard.
All day. There might be 2 songs on that whole project that I don't fuck with. I definitely fuck with Herbo's song with Bum J. There's one Herbo song I don't really like on there.
I don't like his solo song.
I do like the 𝗏𝗏 track. I do like
We texted about that. I remember that.
Oh. What's my guy's name?
Lil Durk.
Lil Durk. Yeah, I like the Lil Durk.
Yeah,
track.
like that. That's one of my favorite records.
I like Lil Durk when it's not real auto-tuning and shit. Because Lil Durk is actually pretty dope. But this is my thing, man. When his music is too manufactured, I don't really like it.
Here's my thing, man, with that. Sometimes I don't see it, and it could be just a personal bias. My ears are just missing it, but the singing over the trap beats don't move it, unless you're like, put it this way, a rapper singing over trap beats versus Sir singing over trap beats, to me, is two different things. Like, I hear Sir with the way he harmonizes and he does certain things with what he does, that's cool. I hear a lot of these rappers singing over trap beats, and it just don't move me, man. Like, it's not no knock to them. Like,
you know what it is, man. Because there's a void. There's a void in artists that actually sing, and it's a lot of these cats probably wanted to be singers, but they wanted to be tough at the same time. So rather than being what they really was called to do, they would rather just rap and then have a sing-songy type rap type shit. I don't know. Kind of like what's my old dude coming up? The kind of bigger dude. I can't remember his name.
Maury. I think it's Maury. You say Maury? Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, he's fire to me. His whole
style. Imagine if he was just an R&B or soul singer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And in his lane, now I ain't taking away nothing from what he's doing because he actually does it really well. But imagine if some of these cats took the R&B or soul route versus one rap and shit all the time. Even like with Chris Brown. Chris Brown he's in a nice lane, but he jumps on both sides, and his R&B is more hip hop or rap influence for the most part. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But he's good at what he does. But what if there was more artists that kind of took that, like a Brent Faiyaz? Are y'all hip to him?
Yeah. I'm sleep.
He's dope.
You got to put me on. I'm sleep.
Yeah, he's dope. He got a new song with Tyler, the Creator, but he's an R&B artist. You know what I'm saying? He really he shines in that lane. He knows what he's doing. And I think a lot of these cats probably really want to be R&B artists, but they're just using both sides of the game because Drake gave him that pass.
Drake definitely laid the foundation out for that. The young fella you talking about, I think it's Maury. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. Always use him as a measuring stick because I'm like, you can see that this kid actually is talented. Like, it ain't it's not fly by night, just some shit that comes up on the internet. The way he flipped the flow, the melodies, the way he was riding the beat, all that. I'm like, yo, he's actually talented. And the song is dope. I think it's called Kickstand? That record is cold to me.
Yeah, he got a few of them. I see David Chronister talking about Anderson .Paak. See, with Anderson .Paak, man, Anderson .Paak is so diverse musically. I don't even consider him a hip hop artist. I know he was on
he shouldn't have been on there. He shouldn't have been on there.
He is on 𝐿𝐿 Freshman, but I don't consider him a hip hop artist.
He shouldn't have been on there.
Yeah, because he's in the lane I wouldn't say by himself, but when you're talking about an artist, Anderson .Paak is definitely that dude.
100%. Lone, I ain't mean to fade you out on this one. I know it's been a while since I come around to you, but with Nipsey and the feature, we talked about him passing away and everything. How do you feel about that, and just overall thoughts on the soundtrack? I know we all talked about it, but I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I was impressed by the soundtrack. I didn't like all of it, but that's just me. I think overall the product in itself was good. It was good representation of what they were trying to go for. All the points you said about the artists they tried to get on there was great. There's only a couple songs. Like I personally struggle when rappers can't rap on, like, if they rap ahead of the beat, I don't like it. Period. I don't like it. And �H𝗏 raps ahead of the beat a lot of times. And his solo song he does. So
Agreed.
I can't nod my head to it, so I can't like it. So there was a couple songs I could have done without, but overall I thought it was a great project. I thought the Nipsey song sounded like it was from just the way the song was built. It sounded like it was Victory Lap-esque. Even the vocalist in the back, I think it was great. The Nas EPMD song was dope for Nas, and but yeah, overall it was a great project. I know we have to jump into something else. I mean, how long have we been live?
Go ahead and cook. We got about 10 minutes. Go ahead and cook. Go ahead and cook. We got about 10 minutes.
I watched an interview last night with Olivier St. Louis and Odyssey, and they brought up a very interesting question about something that you guys were just talking about, and something that, Mike, you say on a regular basis, like, well, I just don't like it, and that argument. And they, Olivier is a molecular biologist by trade or something. I forget when I talked to him exactly what he said, but he's a smart brother, if you will. And Odyssey is, very, he's a studier of people, and they talked about how they make their music and create, and how they're introverted, and how they may be a little behind. You just have to watch it. My point is this. They mention a part about the ages where us as human beings, where we have the capability of actually accepting and enjoying music that is new and different, and it's between the ages of 18 and 25. And whatever falls outside of that range, we have a very large cognitive dissonance that does not allow us to like a lot of stuff. And so if something is not built into that vein of what we enjoyed during that time period, it's really hard for us to overcome that hurdle and actually like something because of all the biases that we have built up in that time period. So if we really love boom bap beats, it's going to take us a lot to like a trap beat, just because if we are married to that idea. And I don't have anything handy to pull up, but I did put the whole interview or a little back and forth discussion on the site. So it's on Bringing Down the Band if you want to check that out. But I just wanted to mention that really quick because, there's a handful of really, really dope conversations that they had within there about just the psychology behind why people like things and why we like what we like and the biases behind everything. So I know that is completely sidebar compared to everything else, but I definitely suggest checking that out.
That's actually a good speaking point. That's a good speaking point. Like, I guess my rebuttal would be, and Terry, I'm coming to you. I don't know, like the kid that we were just talking about, kid that Terry and I were just talking about, the Maury kid, falls, if we want to go 18 to 25, he's the complete opposite of that time frame in my life. I still saw talent in him, and the record jumped out to me because it was good to me.
But good on your standards, I think, right? Based on your biases.
On my standards.
Right.
But I don't think it's bias. The bias, what it is. Bias could be the word. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, the reason I push back against bias is because to me, good is good. It don't have to be boom bap to be good. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to sound like the 90s to be good.
What do you define
good is going to stand out no matter what.
What is good though?
It's going to stand out.
It is though.
How can you define it though?
But good is subjective though. No.
That's my point. But I guess what I'm saying is deep within everything that you're basing whatever you say is good is a curriculum of biases that are whatever you consider good to be. Now, I'm not saying that your biases are incorrect. What I'm saying is that you have them, just like I have them, and they may be meritable. But subjective. Yeah, exactly.
We all 100% have them.
But whatever.
I have them. I agree with that.
Depending on how married you are to your biases, like I can go back and listen to something that I thought was great, and I might have wore out in the early to mid 90s, and I go back and listen to it now. I'm like, no, this ain't what I don't have the same the nostalgia makes it seem better than what it is, because like it's like that with anything. Like when I go back and watch, you know, I love the Transformers when I was a kid, and I go back and watch the show now, and I was like, God damn, the animation in this show is terrible. You know, like you pick up on things, and because like in my mind, the entire series was animated as well as Transformers the movie, but it wasn't, especially in season 3. You know, it's kind of like, you know, and you can apply that same bias, like it is something that can be applied damn near to anything. Like there's food that you might have liked when you get to go home, you go get that food. You're like, this food is really trash. I just liked it when I was 17, and now that I'm, you know, in my 40s, I know better. You know, it certain things, like they don't age the way they should. You know, like everyone has listened to an album that they might have loved when they were 17 or 18. You're like, this aged horribly.
It's cognitive dissonance is what it is.
Molly, definitely. I call it moment music. Yeah. I call it moment music because like everything has its moment, and you'll like it just because of the nostalgia factor. And to Jay Moore's point, I remember a couple weeks ago he pointed out being not cool when you don't like something, and I understand what you're saying there, but in the same token, I think that a lot of older cats that try to remain cool like shit by default, like because they like a lot of the shit that the kids like just because the kids like it, but they don't necessarily like it. They don't necessarily mean that they're cool because they don't like it. And a lot of this shit too, like the artists, some of these young cats that we like have similarities to artists that we like when we was coming up. So when we talk about a young cat,
absolutely,
that is on the cusp or is resonating with us, like for example, YBN Cordae. The reason why we like Cordae is because he sounds like he can rap, but he sounds like he picked up on some shit that maybe he heard his parents listening to, but it's new. It's still new. It don't sound old, but you can tell that the type of shit that he fucks with was, you know what I'm saying? It was something that we came up.
He had that older cousin. He had that bigger brother that put him on game, that had him in the car with UGK. He's that kid.
But then,
you know what I'm saying?
But then you have a cat like the Baby. I like the Baby. The Baby's tight to me, and he can rap his ass off. And he don't necessarily, to me, he doesn't sound like anybody that we was listening to or that I was listening to coming up. I'm sure he probably was influenced by something, but he doesn't sound like that. But I still fuck with him. You know what
That's
I'm
how
saying?
I feel about the Maury kid. That's how I feel about him. He don't sound like nothing I was listening to from 18 to 25.
Yeah, but the thing, but the point is not, it's not like a universal thing. Like what I'm speaking on, apparently, to what they were saying is actually biological. It's actually a fact. So what I'm saying is that we can overcome it, right? Just like we can overcome cognitive dissonance, but we are inclined to, just the way that I talk about cognitive dissonance with white people and racism and how we were raised. It's a certain a hurdle or understanding or whatever you have to say that we have to overcome depending on how we were raised to have certain understanding. It's the same mental concept, just in a different time period for a different trigger for, you know, all that other stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think it's also a thing.
No, I agree with you.
Well, no, it's just like, you know, like I've heard this quote used, and I wish I knew who I could attribute it to. Someone in the chat or perhaps in the comments will do that. But you know, you don't have to, like, you date your ideas. You date, you know, certain opinions. Like once you receive new information, then you can update them. Because if you marry them, then you're stuck with them. Yeah. So I would just, you know, I would, you know, anything in life, you know, if you get new information, then, you know, like I said, that's why you should never, you know, marry, you know, an idea or an opinion, because then you're literally stuck with it. And to divorce yourself from it is a lot more work than to just, you know, update your knowledge base and then, you know, and then create a new idea. You know, so that's the only thing that I would say, that for music, for movies, for food, for your political ideology, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't marry any of those things. Just go ahead and date them. And then, like, once you receive new information, go ahead and move on.
Yeah. So what you're saying is,
I think Terry, I was gonna give you a shout out. I'm coming right to you because I know we got to finish up. But I think, Terry, you and I think along similar lines on this, because me, this is my personal opinion. I think it's lazy, and this is not going against what I see them were saying. I'm just talking about in general.
We'll see.
I think it's a lazy. I know you're gonna tell me if it's not. I think it's a lazy assessment to say, as soon as someone older says they don't like something from a younger artist, it's because they don't sound like something we grew up on. I think that's a lazy take, because to me, it's all about quality. I'm a quality person. For me, my standards. If the song is good and if the song is good and you're 14, I'm going to like it. If the song is good and you 50, I'm going to like it.
Based on your bias, though.
That's the thing. Like, I mean, we all heard stories of older cats that are so stuck in that mode that they can't fathom liking anything else unless somebody tells them it's okay, or unless they get a cosign from somebody they fucking with. That's what makes our dynamic a little different, because as the new old heads, we can respect the old shit and we can still respect the new shit as well. You know what I'm saying? It's not that we're just putting on a hat and this is only talking about our older or nostalgic or 90s rappers. You know what I'm saying? We include everybody in the conversation. It kind of goes to I think it was a show you was talking about in Chicago where you got Griselda. Griselda has an older sound, but with a newer edge. But you had cats in the audience that was there to watch the locks, and they wasn't fucking with Griselda until the heads told them that you supposed to be fucking with Griselda. Now all of a sudden you've been a Griselda fan,
right?
And I don't think anybody on our show exhibits those personality traits to where we're waiting on somebody else to tell us what's hot. You know what I'm saying? We know how to make the meter move on our own without getting okay that it's okay to like such and such. I mean, most of the time we're on a mission to try to find a newer cat to like any damn way.
Talk to him.
Versus liking the old shit. So,
talk to him.
I mean, that's just us as a dynamic, period. Being a new old head is being able to respect and acknowledge these young artists in the same token as respecting and acknowledging the older artists as well.
Yeah.
100%. So I know we're on the same page. All right. It's about I think we probably right at an hour, maybe a little bit over.
I'm gonna keep talking about this when the show's over though, so stick around.
Please do, because I know you got it's left over, but we appreciate the support. Shout out to the chat. Everybody's still in here. Corey T, David, I see you. The Frog, I see you. Who else am I missing? Audie Pie was in the building. I appreciate you. Alex was in here. E was in here. The Hack, I see you. If I missed you, I apologize. It's just the fact that we got to get out of here. Remember, make sure you guys check us.
Image posted in the chat.
You know you're going to use that emoji already. Make sure you guys check us out on Patreon, New Old Heads, /Patreon. Check us out when you get a chance. Subscribe to the New Old Heads Network on YouTube. We're steadily climbing. You know what it is with Twitch already on to say that.
Brand new Bringing Down the Band website is dropping this week too. So
yes, I've had a chance to take a look at it. It's really good. So
can't wait to drop it.
As always.
Yeah, Lone does his thing on that. So we appreciate y'all rocking with us. Stick around for a little bit of the post show. I know our times are off tonight, but we still gonna rock for a little bit. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
In a minute. Peace.